He was crouched in the hangar, a rag in his calloused hand, polishing the long barrel of the AH-64 Apache's machine gun. To everyone else, he was just another mechanic, invisible in the noise of engines and the chatter of soldiers passing by. But when the general walked in, and his eyes caught the small faded patch stitched onto the man's sleeve, the room froze. The patch was not regulation. It was older, dirt-stained, the kind only carried by those who had survived battles most soldiers only read about. The general stopped mid-step, his voice lowered. "Where did you get that? Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening." The man's name was Daniel. Most called him quiet, almost forgettable. He worked longer hours than anyone, often staying behind when the hangar emptied, his head bowed under the hum of fluorescent lights. But inside him lived a weight that no one around could see. Memories buried under silence, scars hidden beneath sleeves. That patch, a symbol of a unit long dissolved, was the only proof he hadn't imagined the things he had endured. As the general's question lingered, whispers rippled through the hangar. Soldiers shifted, pretending to keep working but straining to hear. Daniel's hand trembled against the steel, his mind rushing back to a night years ago, when flames lit up a desert sky, and he thought his last breath had come. The general stepped closer, his polished boots echoing like a slow drum. "That insignia," he said, his voice sharp yet curious, "belongs to the Ghost Hawks. That unit was wiped out in Kandahar. Except," he stopped, his eyes searched Daniel's face, as if reaching into the shadows of a past buried too deep. Daniel swallowed hard. "I was there," he whispered. The silence that followed was heavier than the engines around them. Men who had once overlooked him now stared with wide eyes. Some mouths hung open. Others muttered disbelief. To them, Daniel had been just a cleaner, a pair of hands keeping weapons spotless. But in that moment, he was more. A ghost returned, a living testament to survival. He remembered that night with brutal clarity. The ambush, the deafening gunfire, the desperate fight for ground. He remembered dragging a wounded comrade through burning sand, refusing to let him die alone, and he remembered watching as the last of his brothers fell, leaving him the only one to carry their story. The patch wasn't decoration. It was a gravestone he wore over his heart. The general's jaw tightened. He had been a young commander back then, issuing orders from miles away, and now before him stood the man who bore the weight of those decisions. His authority collided with guilt. Should he salute this survivor? Should he apologize? Or should he turn away, preserving his dignity while leaving Daniel's truth unspoken? The moral tension twisted through the hangar like smoke. Then, the general did something no one expected. He snapped to attention and saluted Daniel. Crisp, deliberate, unwavering. Gasps echoed around them. Tools clattered to the floor. And for the first time, Daniel felt the weight he carried shift just slightly. A tide of respect swept through the room as others followed, one by one, soldiers straightening and saluting the man they had dismissed only minutes earlier. Daniel's eyes burned. He wasn't seeking glory. He only wanted his brothers remembered, their courage not erased by time. And in that moment, surrounded by raised hands and silent reverence, he realized they finally were. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And just like the rag in his hand, that polished steel until it gleamed, Daniel's truth, once hidden in dust and silence, now shone bright under the hangar lights. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And don't forget to subscribe, because more stories of courage, justice, and humanity are waiting to be told.